I'm Paul Pearson, host of Star Time, and when I'm not hearing men compare women to residential real estate, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Do you feel uneasy on your feet? Need assistance to walk? Do you use a wheelchair and want to stand more? What if you could stand stronger, feel steadier on your feet? What would this mean for your daily life? Join our dance-based walking program to improve balance, coordination, strength, and stamina. Wednesdays in July and August at 2 p.m. at the iconic Columbia City Theater in partnership with Rainier Avenue Radio and Hugs and Power Nonprofit. Walkers, wheelchairs, and canes welcome. If you can stand and bear weight for even just 5 seconds, come dance to walk with Tango Stride.
What's going on, world? It's your boy OG Mambo.
And your guy D Money. Join us along with Pint Size Patron and ID Yourself
Here on Fresh Juice at Rainier Avenue Radio.
every Wednesday hump day from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hello, listener. What's important to you about what's going on in your community? Are you interested? Are you concerned? In any case, I invite you to tune into my show, Seattle Here and Now, on Rainier Avenue Radio .world. Why? I will be covering a wide range of topics important to you and impacting the community. Each show will have a special guest or guests to share with you information on a variety of subjects that are happening here and now in Seattle. I promise I will work hard to make my show informative, interesting, and entertaining. Be sure to listen to Seattle Here and Now on Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenue.radio.world.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio.world designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with Guaranteed Rate Affinity, with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good. How are you, Tina?
Beautiful. Beautiful day. Beautiful day in August. We're enjoying some good sun, but not 150 degrees. It's only 90 degrees. So.
150. When was it 150?
I don't know. It just felt like that.
Yeah, yes. It's warm here too, but a touch of fall is in the air.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. So anyways, what do we got going today, V?
Well, we've got Jhema Lucas coming up in a few minutes. She'll be talking about financial security, and she's with Strategem. So without further ado, it's going to be a long conversation, but I will start with my market update.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. In King County, in the last couple weeks since we've been on the air live, we've had 819 homes active and 928 homes sold at an average price of $1,098,000. That's in King County again. Last year at this time, $1,138,000 was the average price. And then July to July, we're looking at days on the market. Last year we had 20 days on the market before your home was sold. 15 days this year. So there's a difference right there, 5 days. And showings to pending, 25 for last year, 22 this year. Showings per listing, 14 showings. And then in this year, we've had 13 and a half. So it's about pretty even numbers of showings to listings. So that many groups coming into the home. And then the percent to the list price, 104% last year. This year, 105.6. So a difference of 1.5 points. And then we go to Pierce County. Where's my Pierce County numbers? Sorry, thought it was here. My papers flew away. All right. Active homes, 452 homes. Sold 536 at an average price of $621,000. Last year it was $601,000. So that's pretty close. And July to July, days on the market, 19 versus 17. Showings to pending, 18 versus 14 this year. And then showings per listing, last year was 11 groups versus 8.5 groups. Let's just say 9. And then percent of to the list price, it was 103.2 versus 102.6% of list price this year. And last but not least, here we have Snohomish County with 383 homes active out there and 396 homes sold at an average price of $787,000 versus 818 this year. So I forgot to calculate my percentages, but there you have it. About $20,000 more this year. Days on the market, 17 last year, 12 this year. Showings to pending, 22 showings versus 18 showings. And then showings to listing, per listing, it's 15 last July, and this July it was 12%. Of the list price, 104.5% last year, and then a slight increase to 105% this July. So there you have my market report for all 3 counties. Tina, what do you have for our mortgages?
Well, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the interest rates if you can real quick, Daniel. Thank you. That 30-year interest rate, fixed rate, is at 5.718. That is the average price across the nation. 20-year, 5.4. 15-year, 4.8, and 10-year, 4.75. Now we're being back into the phase in which adjustable rate mortgages are becoming more prevalent. So the 5-year ARM right now is at 5.25, and the 3-year ARM is at 2.34. So if you're going to stay in your house in less than 2 years, or you'd like to gamble, 2.34 would be a rate for a 3-year fixed ARM, 3-year adjustable rate mortgage. So what this is telling you is that the interest rates are starting to go back up again. The Federal Reserve actually met on July 26th and 27th, and they actually raised the Fed rate by 0.75 points. So that is why the interest rates are starting to move. Still, and thank you, Daniel, for showing that. Still, if you are looking for a loan, the rates are one thing, the cost of funds are one thing, but they have been teetering right in the 5.5% to 6%. That's where they're teetering at. The word out on the street is that interest rates are going to start moving up again, since the Federal Reserve actually did say they're going to raise the rates again. So we can kind of count on that. But still, the interest rates, 5.75, is a very strong and healthy rate. What we're finding out now is that a lot of houses have been sitting on the market a lot longer. A lot of the sellers are not getting those over offer asks. Now they're getting offers that are below market. And so now the market is starting to correct itself. So you can actually still, even though you have a higher rate than last year, you can probably get a home at a much cheaper cost. So it's starting to balance out. So that's basically it with my mortgage update.
There you go.
Now, does that make sense, V?
Yeah.
The rates are higher, and what that has caused is that it's caused the industry to slow down. A lot of buyers are kind of hesitant. They're not just slapping numbers on listing offers. Buyers are saying, hey, let's hold back, and sellers are like, wait a second, how come I'm not selling my home in one day? Why am I selling my home in 2 weeks now? So the seller's like, okay, let's forget the 1.1 million and let's bring it back down to 800,000 and sell it. So what's going on is
that's a huge difference.
I'm hearing people here. I don't know about yourself, but I'm hearing people here where they're fighting with the realtors, and they're like, our house is worth 950,000. The realtor's like, no, it's not. It's worth 750. So they put it on the market at 50, then it goes down to 900, then 899, and the realtor's like, I told you it was 750, and and it starts going down, and so and then what happens is the seller gets exasperated. But right now, the interest rates are at a point where people are not just throwing their money at anything. And people are really taking a good effort and look at what they are actually paying, what their monthly payments are. And they're saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to go a button over 700,000. I'm not going to go a button over 950,000. And with these interest rates, I cannot even afford to. And so sellers who've got their house overpriced are taking a big bite out of reality. And they're like, okay, well, let's bring it back down to where the market is. So it's a very, very good buy for people who want to get out there and start buying because, the interest rate is higher, but the houses are a lot cheaper.
And here's two things. One, the buyers are the ones that are setting the price, the market price. And they're taking a pause because of the interest rates. But like Tina's saying, it's still historically good interest rates, right?
Right.
Still below that historical average. And then the other thing is that, there's no bidding wars. There's no multiple offers. There's no escalation clauses. So sellers, sorry, that's the way it's happening. It's the supply and demand. But the supply is still limited, but the demand is not quite there. So there is a correction happening right now.
Yes.
And and the buyers, again, they'll price the market accordingly. And we can fight with our sellers, but you know what? The sellers will set the price, what they want. And then it's up to you as agents to say, okay, 2 weeks, let's give it 2 weeks at this price. And if it doesn't sell, you've got to reconsider the price. Let's drop it down, maybe 50,000 or whatever it is. But you can haggle over it initially. But who's going to win? The sellers for setting the price. And then you just talk some reason into them and say, okay, let's do it your way. Fine, let's do that and let's see how it goes. And in 2 weeks, just promise me that you'll allow me to lower the price.
Right.
That's what I say.
Or make it more, or make it more attractive. I've been telling people now, if you have a listing and, instead of lowering the price by $10,000 or $15,000, why don't you give seller concessions and pay for the closing costs?
Right.
A lot of times people, they qualify, but they don't have enough money to bring to close, or they almost don't qualify. And if they just could pay 1 point, they could probably qualify for the house. They don't have enough money to pay for closing costs and the down payment. So sellers, instead of lowering the price of your house, you may want to look into perhaps just paying for the buyer's closing costs. That actually would buy you more.
Yeah. So all the buyers out there, come talk to me. I'll send you to Tina and she'll walk you through all the different options too for financing. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So anyways, before we go on too, I was just going to say, I've been doing this for 3 decades, about, for 30 years, what have you. And some of the stuff that we're dealing with now, like 2-1 buy down, so on and so forth, this is stuff we used to do back in the day. When the interest rates were at 8, 9, 10%, they were at 8, 7%. These are things that we used to do years ago. And because the interest rates have been so freakishly low in the last, 8 years, some of these programs just they never went away. They just were never brought up. But now, if you want to know about adjustable rates, you want to know about 2-1 buy downs, you want to know about all these different things. This is old school conventional financing or non-conforming financing that we've had for years. It just has not been prevalent. So, get back into the market. There's a lot of exciting things going on again that'll get you into a home.
Yeah, and we'll get creative out there on how we negotiate.
Oh yeah.
So
It's a must.
There you go.
So are we ready for halftime?
I think we are. Yep. Let's go, Daniel.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Great.
Okay. So
Great.
here we are. Let's bring in Jhema Lucas from Strategem Financial. Hi, Jhema.
Yes, hi, Jhema.
And there's Tina Lombard. Want to introduce you guys?
Yes, hi, Jhema.
Hello. Can you hear me clearly?
Great.
Yes.
So you're going to be talking to us today. So yeah, go ahead. Please finish the introduction, V.
Oh, no. I just wanted to turn it over to you because Tina's going to interview our good friend Jhema here. And
Yes.
I'll just let you have at it.
Okay, great. So Jhema, so really quick, tell us a little bit about your background and the company that you work for and what you guys specialize in.
Yes. It's a great opportunity to be part of this podcast or this broadcast because my company is in financial services, and it happens to be working with every individuals, young and old. And as we deal with them, they're emphasizing about their needs, the priorities, and one of those is shelter. So it's so glad to be part of this.
Great. So tell me, so you do financial services then, correct?
Yes, indeed.
And when we say financial services, describe for us. Are you talking stocks, bonds, retirements, annuities? What's part of the services you provide?
Well, that's a great question. Those are just part of it. You're talking about the product, but it's about how we are working with the people around, right? When we're talking with people around, we have a mission. Our mission is really, number one, to educate people with financial literacy. You know that's the number one issue right now, that people keeps on working so hard, but then when it comes to financial literacy, they so ignorant about that. And so our main mission is to really educate people about financial literacy. And then the second one is leading them how money works, how to save, how to keep, and how to make more money. And in that case, keeping their grocery dream will still up. Like they're not gonna be. Sometimes I call them zombie time. When people keep on working, but then they forget about their dreams and goals. And number one part of there is, as I said, shelter, since we're talking about real estate here, right?
Right.
And with that, it takes them a while before realizing, hey, this is my priority.
Right. So when you say financial literacy, what are you referring to?
Well, financial literacy is about, number one, how is the cash flow works, right? Inside a family. If I work so hard, 9 to 5 or 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, is it going to be enough? Not just for tomorrow's needs, but for the long term, right?
Right.
The expenses that we're dealing with. Number two, it's about knowing how to get out of debt, right? And having an emergency fund settled. And number three is about protecting the family, the proper protection we're talking about, protecting the assets, and the biggest assets is about the family. And of course, the other parts are building wealth and preserving wealth. So those are the things that we are covering up when it comes to financial literacy. But in details, there's a lot of things to know, really. Basically, it's about growth, knowing about safety, taxes, as well as proper protection, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay. So what I find in our community, I do a lot of different loans, but I find in the Asian community or the Filipino community, you'll have the wife and she has $80,000 worth of cash, either a safe deposit box or underneath the bed or in their sister's account, or, they own all this, different money and nobody knows about it except for me when I do the loan or what have you. And then I say, hey, you've got $74,000 worth of cash, but where is it? And they're like, oh, it's in a safety deposit box, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? They're like, well, this is how I save. And so right there, it's a red flag for me, because I know they could have savings, they could have stocks, bonds, annuities, tax-free, this and that. And then, and they could have bought a house a long time ago. So is this the type of thing you're referring to?
Exactly. It's about them knowing how to make it work for them, really.
Okay.
Like, imagine when we're buying some things, right? What is the number thing that changes? Is it the inflation? And if they keep that 80,000 in their safety box, is that value of 80,000 going to be the same worth now and the next 5 years or 10 years? How
Right.
about we teach them how to make that money worth for them in the next 2, 3, or whenever they need it?
Right.
There's a reason why they're keeping it, right? And so we're dealing what's behind it, what's the reason why they're making money keeping it. And
Yeah.
with that, we're leading them to the strategic plan. Hey, there
Okay.
are rule of 72. Like, what is a rule of 72 we're talking about? Well, Albert Einstein, getting famous of that one, he said it's an eight wonderful world. Like, with that rule of 72, knowing about it, it's about compounding interest, right? 72 divided by the interest rate. It's about how fast their money will grow. If they kept it in the safety box, does it grow in time?
Yeah.
Not.
It's not a plan. So what do they use to do that? Because a lot of them are buying CDs, a lot of them are buying annuities, a lot of them are buying mutual funds, or they're buying Bitcoin or something like that. So what kind of services do you provide? What kind of avenues do you use, or vehicles, monetary vehicles do you use?
It's everything. So we are working with this, with stocks, with annuities, with not with CDs. CDs is with the bank, but it really depends on when, how, and why are they? What are they going to use it for, right? So
Right.
we lead them, as I said, with different products or services. Like,
Right.
okay, I need it sooner, then we'll do it with a liquid fund, right? We'll lead
Right.
them through our liquid fund. Well, I
Okay.
need it in 5 to 10 years. Then we'll direct them to some other type of products. It
Right.
really depends on when and why and how are they going to
Right.
use that.
So now, is there a lot of people have got connotations? They say, oh, I'm 42 years old, I'm too old to invest, or I'm already 65, I don't need to invest anymore, or I'm 23, I got years to think about it. Are you too young, or are you ever too old to start investing?
That's a very good question. I thought about that one when I was 22, when I started working. Like, oh, I have my own money, I earned it. What am I going to do? Right? Again,
Right.
going back to the question, why? Why am I working for this money? So they have to attach it with a goal.
Okay. Right.
And with that case, it doesn't matter how old they are, if they're young or old. It's about why. So when they said for a younger generation, hey, I want to live, comfortably, and I want to do what I didn't experience when I was young. And so they have this short-term needs. But there are some millennials or younger generation thinking about, hey, I'm thinking about for long term. I don't want to experience what my mom had experienced recently, or my grandma just got lost a bunch of money because it was put at somewhere else in which she didn't have any idea about it, and she lost like 20% of it.
5%. Yeah, they didn't know about taxes, and they sold their house, and they didn't know about taxable
Exactly.
gains.
So that's the part where, hey, I have to do something for a change. So I have to talk to a financial consultant. For 42 years old, just like me, I'm 42. My priority right now are my kids. What am I going to do with my hard-earned money for my kids, right? And for them, I have to make sure that, hey, I experience, very humble beginning, not really poverty, but I have to break that on the next generation and have to do it now. So with that, strategic planning is the thing. Remember, I mentioned to you about the cash flow, the emergency fund, debt management, proper, proper protection, building wealth. Those are about the set of planning phase that we need to think about.
Right. So a lot of people don't realize that there's different risk factors. If you buy stock, if you buy bonds,
Mhm.
from the governmental municipality bonds, that's very, very safe. Then you buy riskier funds like Bitcoin or whatever. It is very, very risky. So you need to talk to a consultant to find out what is risky, what is your risk aversion, what are you willing to risk. So you have to talk to a consultant for that. But really quick, Gemma, if somebody was going to buy a house, let's say they have $50,000 cash they've been saving, and they want to buy a house, and they come to you as a financial advisor, would you say buy a house first? Would you say take all the $50,000 and put into the house? Or would you say put a little bit into the house and put some into financial investments?
That's a good question. Well, this is what we usually do. So we have to make sure that okay, they're buying a house and that's the money that they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
The big question there is, do they have emergency fund?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, they're gonna buy a house, but when there's something happened to their house that they bought,
Right.
is it gonna be a liability or an asset?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they have to make sure that they set aside something for emergency funds.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like
Right.
for emergency cases. So I always think about long term. Like, okay, if they're ready, hey, let's strategize. Let's look at all what you have. It's not just that 50,000, but everything. Because again, we're looking at the short term, mid-term, and long-term strategic planning here.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. So how do they get a hold of you? What does your program look like as far as introducing them to your services?
Well, they can reach me out through my phone number. I have my office phone number, which is or through email, or they could set a schedule with me, and I'll post it later.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: it's about number one, knowing to be able to appreciate what you have, right? You have to know it first,
Mm-hmm.
and to connect it to the goals and dreams. Everyone has goals and dreams. And if you just do it for, I just have extra money, I just want to spend it to this and that, and it doesn't connect emotionally to your personal goals and dreams, well, it doesn't worth for long term.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, in our culture, we, the bank system isn't what it is in the United States. It's not what it is in the Philippines. It's completely different.
Yes.
So, and what I found with a lot of my clients is they're still doing the old ways. They're taking thousands of dollars and they're putting in a coffee can, literally the grown women, and they're putting it somewhere and nobody knows about it. Well, nobody knows about it. If the house is burned down, you're not insured. You get no tax benefits. There's no structured savings. And then when they go to get a loan, we cannot document the $60,000. So it's like they have no money at all. It's a cultural thing, getting rid of the old cultures and embracing where you're at right now. We've got a lot of things at our fingertips. My mother bought stocks, bonds, this and that, and so on and so forth, retirement and long-term care. She really used her money wisely, and she was able to live a very fruitful life. So what you're saying here, Jhema, is there's resources out there. Just because you have money, that's just part of it. It's great that you have money, but what can you do? How can you plant your seeds? How can you plant your flowers? There's no good in just having a bag of seeds. It's how you plant those so you have a lush, beautiful, supplementary garden. So that's basically what you could do with them financially.
Indeed. And also, here's the thing. So when the number one thought about that one is, I want to keep this money safe because I work so hard for it.
Right.
So they didn't even know that there are a lot of vehicles out there that it is still gonna keep on safety.
Right.
Not just in the bank, there are a lot more. As a matter of fact, it's even higher than what the bank guarantees them, right? And I've seen it, I've witnessed it. Even me, I have one of it.
Annuities, tax-free annuities, tax sheltered investments, that accumulate tax-free. I mean, nobody knows about that stuff.
Exactly.
You need to know about this. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to know about this stuff.
Exactly.
And Jhema will tell you about them.
Other cultures are embracing it. Other cultures are embracing it. And we're living in this culture. Let's go ahead and let's get to the programs.
That's so true. As a matter of fact, when it comes to money, there are only three things that they need to know. Number one, the accumulation phase. All right. Accumulation phase is, okay, I have this hard-earned money. How can I make this more worth it for me for the rest of my life? So they're thinking about time, right? Is it growing? Is it growing like more than the inflation, which is right now the inflation rate is 9%, right? Because if it's not, they're just losing the value.
Going backwards.
Number two, it's about the protecting face, right? There's an ups and down in the stocks, right? Like there is what you call the risks, right? How are they gonna dip into that risk, or they just want to protect it? So there are a lot of strategies for that one. I'm gonna spill out one, which is an index. That's another way to protect their assets. And the third one is about distribution phase. This is where the taxes comes in, right? Taxes, taxes, taxes. And when we're talking about taxes, hey, it is when or where they place it. And I am so happy to teach them how to strategize well when it comes to taxes.
That's great.
Well, time's up, ladies. It was really quick. And just real quick, Jhema, tell them what you're doing tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
You're inviting.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, right. So we have, since we're talking about this real estate collaborating real estate and finance, we have this webinar tomorrow, which is a webinar, and I'll post it in here, and that will be at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And we have great speakers from our firm in financial services and how to get connected with real estate and mortgage. And it is a nice webinar that they could hook up. And you know what? It's more detailed than what I'm talking about right now. So if they are thrilled and intrigued what I said today, it will be more detailed tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you, Jhema, very much for your time today and introducing your company and telling us about financial strategies. And we will talk again in the near future, right? So from Real Estate and Money, I'm Violeta Strash with John L. Scott.
And I'm Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jhema. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks, Jhema. Thanks, Daniel.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts, Violeta Strash and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune in to our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help you find your dream home.